Hello everybody, this is Manoj Kumar. I welcome you at the page of Sekavati International Academy, Sikar. Today we are going to start a new chapter from the book Delight, Class 7. And this is chapter name Educating Mother. So here, this chapter is a story of a mother who has some children, and what she is trying to do something new, that she is trying to decide a story to her children who are studying in different standards, and how like there are she had to make 2 3 attempts uh, of different stories, and all the stories were not completed yet. Why? Because there were some regions, there were some problems regarding it, what type of problems she had to face it, and what was the solution of it, what at the end what was the conclusion she found, that was she was able to recite a story, speak a story to her children, or what she were not able to speak a story. So what will happen in the story was a very nice chapter, was a very nice story when I was studying about it, and I hope you were thoroughly enjoyed it from the beginning to the end. So without wasting time, just start the story. It all started when my mother asked me to tell the children a story. Now here, a lady, the narrator herself, is saying a story of her life, that she is saying that uh, when her mother, that this lady mother, told her to speak a story to her children, to my children, what happened? I cleared my throat and began long ago. And so, what was the duty of mother? She just cleared her throat and started speaking story to her children, as per the instruction given by the her own mother. That means children grandmother. How long ago? Squeaked my 3-year-old nephew Adi. So, dear students, what is going actually? Her 3-year-old nephew, what she did? He asked that how old, like how long, as you told me that long ago, whenever a story is begun, especially whenever our mother, our grandmother, they are trying to speak a story which has some ethical values, which has some honesty, which has some loyalty and a faithfulness, trust, and always false or betray are at the end they are beaten. So whenever they start a story, they always say by starting that long ago or once upon a time. It all indicate that the story is related to the very past period of time, maybe hundreds, 200, 500 years before. So the small child who is almost 3 year old, he spoke, whose name is Adi, and he asked, how long ago, mother? It was a long time ago. Let's go on with the story, their mother replied. Try telling my history teacher that, said my 12-year-old daughter Renu, now another character, Renu. She insists that I get all the dates right in my history test. Now, Renu asks, no, mother, it is very important to know the exact period of time when this thing was happened. As per my teacher, my history teacher instruction, she always gave us instruction that it is very important to mentioning the date, the time period when when any incident happened. Actually, the history is all about the game of date. A person who is able to recite or memorize the dates, when this concept, remembering the dates, that person can achieve a very better marks in the subject of history. So the Renu asked, the second number child told her mother, no, mother, it's very important as per my teacher order. I decide to ignore her. Who is I here? I is their mother. I decide to ignore her, just not paying attention on Rin. There was the girl called Goldilocks. So in this story, there was a girl whose name was Goldilocks. So you remember this character. This character is not a part of their brothers sisters. It's a part of the story, a character of story. The names, the names, the names parents came up with: muttered Renu. Thank God you didn't choose to call me long nose or Sessure eyes. So the name parents came up with muttered Renu. Thank God you didn't choose to call me long nose or secure eyes. So here the Renu was saying that now Goldilocks was a very strange name, and now also you kept Renu. It's okay. Otherwise you could pick whenever I got birth. The Renu was saying in her very low pitch voice. She was trying to say to something to her children, to her brothers, sisters who were listening the same story. She was saying that thank God my parents didn't took as such type of awkward name. What type of awkward name? Like long nose or saucer eyes. Goldilocks decided to go for a long walk. I continue. So now here the mother continues speaking about the story that there was a girl whose name is Goldilocks. She was going on a very long walk. Did she have a weight problem? Asked my 4-year-old Venkat. Now here the Venkat who was 4-year-old, and he replied, he interrupted while the mother was speaking the story. What he did, he just asked, does she have some weight problem? She was a fatty woman? Was she was a overweight girl? That's why she needs to for walk to reduce her fat. Such type of questions came in different children name. First, the what we just see, the first, her nephew, 3-year-old nephew Adi asked about that how long this story, and then again and the Renu interrupted that, oh, my teacher always order us or always give us instruction that always remember the date and time period. It is very mandatory in the subject of history. And then at the end, at the third time, who interrupted? Her own 4-year-old boy whose name is Venkat. And then but he interrupted by saying that how does she having some problem related to overweight? Now how many children were there? 3 children we have go through. First Abhi, second Renu, and third is Venkat. So you have to remember these characters in the story. No, she didn't. She went for a long walk, strayed into the forest. Soon she discovered that she was lost. There was no any kind of problem that she was suffering from overweight or obesity. No, that was not a problem. That was not a kind of problem she was going through. Actually, she went. She had a need of walk. Actually, she wanted to go very long and a very long walk. And what happened? She just went straight into the forest. After a while, she found that she lost herself in the thick bushes and very long trees. And my dear students, I want to stop you for a sec, just because of it happens many times that the people generally lose themselves not only forest but also in the water. Why? Because in forest each and every trees looks same, each and every grass on the land looks same, and the bushes are same, even the paths all similar, looking with each other are similar. So the person who enter in the forest, he seems that I'm going, if he looks for a right path, if he wants to go outside from the forest, so what he does, he just trying to go straight. But actually what happened, he can never go straight. Why? Because there is no particular path. All are hodgepodge, all are mixed up, all are so complicated, complex. And what happened at the end, the person finds himself that he was rotating at the one place round and round, and because he was not able to find, or because there are no any signboard, there are no any kind of a marks. Generally people do not, people just be away from the forest, they seldomly go there, so there is no any particular. But at the land, there are many signboard, there are many people to whom we can ask the address, we can go somewhere else by asking, or there are GPS system, or there are many source. And also it happens same when it comes to the ocean. In ocean, the water miles of miles away, where it can stretch, it looks similar, it looks same, there is no any island. So the person find himself that he has lost, there is a no man's of land, a person is not able to find himself, and at the end he give up and find that he is lost. So the same thing happened with this girl whose name is Goldilocks. Who is the character of this story? If she would had a cell phone, she could have called her mother, said my 6-year-old niece, Jaya. So first nephew was there, and now a niece whose name is Jaya. Nice, my dear niece, or nice we pronounce by different names. The niece, who is, we can say in Hindi, Bhatiji, who was only 6 year old. Her name is Jaya. She asked that if she would have, didn't she have a mobile phone, then she can locate her address, locate her location. She can just refer, or by speaking to her mother, by calling a mother, that I am here, I lost, so they can come to rescue her. That was the interpret once again in the story. To whom? To mother. And who's just interpreted this time? Jaya, who is only 6 year old. Now the 4 characters we have seen in this story. Oh, so it was that long, exclaimed Jaya. No, I forget, so sorry. Don't be stupid. They had no cell phone in those days, said Renu. Said Renu that period of time, a cell phone type of technology was not invented, and people just communicate by each other by sending a letter. So in the post office, there is no kind of letter was there. So what was the reply of Jaya? Oh, so it was that long ago. Exclaim means shocked Jaya, as if the pre-cell phone era belonged to the antediluvian days. And diluvian days means a period of time that preceded the great flood of Noah. Use, like, okay, she was saying that, okay, it was a like very ancient period of time that she is talking about. And Diluvian days means it is a story, it is a incident happened in very past, where is a flood type of things was happened. So let's talk about some other days about this story. Now here, moving to the next page, the poor thing came to a cottage that belonged to 3 bears. The poor thing here, my dear students, you need to understand that what is the meaning of the poor thing. Here the poor thing means the poor girl, the innocent girl, the lost girl, came to a cottage. Cottage means in a house that belonged. This house belonged to 3 bears. Bears means, my dear, bears means bhalu. She was so hungry that she made a straight for the dining room, and the girl was so starving, she was feeling so hungry, and what she did, she just went towards straight, she just entered in the cottage and straight went into the dining hall or dining room. There on a table were 3 cups of produce. Produce is a kind of a, we can use this word as a halwa or as a dalia. Such type of food was there in different cups, like 3 beers, like there were 3 beers living in it. So in these there were 3 cups were placed, and all the 3 cups, what was poured into it? The porridge. She had a sip from father's beer's cup. First she took a sip. Sip means a good. It was too hot. Mother's beer's produce was too cold, but the produce in a baby beer's cup was just right. So she drank that baby beer's produce. So now here, what she did first, she came towards the father cups, the beer father cups, which was very hot. Why? Because she tasted by one sip, and then she moved to the second cup, which belonged to the mother beer cup, and she was not interested in it. And at the third, this was a baby beer cup, and it was very cold, and she drank very nicely. Now here in this paragraph, actually I think Goldilocks is a murder mystery, said Red. Now here, this story becomes so interested, and now you would started interesting. You would be understanding the story actually what is going on. There is a mother who is trying to speak a story, and each and every time, whenever she speak 2 3 sentences, all the times, or whenever she is moving to a next step of the story, then on what happened, somebody interrupted, especially the children who were gathering near the mother to specially sit here to listen the story. But each and every time, three four children were trying to interrupted her by asking a different or typical type of questions which were not a part of the story. So what was happened second time? The second time Renu interrupted once again. She thought that Goldilocks, this story belonged to a murder mystery. But here it was not looking like a murder mystery. It was looking a very happy or a children type of story. But then Renu is almost 10 12 year old, and she was looking, or she was happy, she was very interested to listen a such type of story which belonged to a murder, kidnapping, or where the extortion, assault, or murder, something happened there. Her reading consisted of a shape of a staple diet of thrillers and romance. What was she had a such type of hobby? She had a hobby to read a such type of story which belonged to thriller and romance. She was interested in it. Thriller means where the action, where the like mystery is there, romance is there, a such type of story she loved to, where the couples are there, they love each other, a such type of story she was very interested. And her thoughts tended towards the Macbeth. Now here, tended means bent, and her thoughts were moved to the fearful. Macbeth is a kind of a fearful, and she was thinking that it would be a very fearful story. It would be a very nice story, but it was not actually a kind of a story. It was looking so easy. It was looking so easy going story. This was too much even for me. Indulgent mother, though I was a murder mystery. How can you be so stupid? Here, this was too much even for me. Now here the mother was saying in her own self that now it's going beyond my limitation and beyond my patience, as I have a limitation of patience. But now each and every time she and the other children who are just interrupting me by asking different questions, and now this time she is interrupting me by saying that I thought and we were thinking about this story belonged to a kind of a murder or mystery, but she was totally interested. See, they were expecting that this story could be there should be a drama, there should be some thrill, there should be some action, romance. And now the mother was saying in herself that I'm so indulgent type of lady. Indulgent means so kind, so helping, so intellectual woman, introvert woman who was not fastly offended. She was very kind type of person, and I was a murder mystery. How can you be so stupid? And I'm not a such type of woman who is also fond of your choices. I'm a different type of woman. I love a such type of story which belong to love, where a children can love, where the child can love, understand about the love, about the loyalty, about the honesty, about the power of truthism. So there are the main subjects which I want to convey through my stories. Well, how do we know it was not murder mystery? I have only heard your version of it. How can we believe? How can we know that it is not a murder story? Maybe you have interpreted, you have spoken in your own version. does she mean? Just let's that in the second line you will understand everything in very clear. How do I know you have not edited out all the interesting bits? Bits means fact. Simply because you don't approve of murder stories. Means murder story means that you don't like violation in your story. What the Renu was saying, actually it could be happen that there is a story but you have edited something, you have put something your own choiceable matter which looks out of violence, which there is a matter of kindness, there is a matter of respect, maybe something you have added in your own story, but actually the real story of something different, but you have turned it out, you have transformed this story into a very simple story. Maybe it could be a mystery story or a very violent type of story, but you have spoken in your own edition. I think Goldilocks was an heiress. Heiress means, my dear students, uh, a kind of a person who is a son of a very who is a son of a very a big family, who is a son of a great generation. Heiress means Vansaj. The house in the forest belonged to the person who stood in inherited the property if she died. And what happened? The person who was standing, actually this belong, as you told me that there is a house which belongs to a three bears. Actually, there is such type of story was not there in the real, but the real story is that there is a person who belonged to this house and he was the inherited means that he got this property, he got this house by his ancestors, as it is a legacy that all the parents now, after when they become old, they transfer their property to the name of their son, and after that when they become older, then they transfer to their son. So it is a kind of a legacy which goes from a long period of time, and it will still go to the future as well. As so he was just waiting, and if she died, then he will be domain, he will be possess this property. This house in sorry Seeing her go into the forest, he must have put a bowl of poisoned produce in the cottage. She must have drunk the produce and died. The beers are only your invention. Now, what Renu was saying, maybe this story, and how you could imagine that how sharp this small girl mind was, that she was saying that maybe that this is a trap which is made by the person who belonged to this property, and he deliberately wanted to kill this small girl. How he wanted to girl this how he wanted to kill this girl, actually he made a trap in this forest, and there is a house was set up, and in this house the produce was placed, and all the produce were mixed up with the poison, and when she will eat it, and she will get die, and all these things which you were making in yourself, that there were beers and all these things, these were your invention, this is the thought of your mind. Actually story is like that. Invention means that you invented it, you made it by your own self. Now in the next paragraph, the little ones were drinking in her words with awe. Awe means awesome. The little ones means all the small children were very happy and were saying, wow, wow, Renu, you are having a very nice mind, or a nice way of thinking, that you have interpreted this story in a right version. Clearly her version excited them more than mine did. So my story didn't excite all the children as my Renu, who is almost 10 to 12-year old, that they were excited by her own version. Maybe Goldilocks was not in the right choice. I would tell them some other story. I began the story of a Red Riding Hood. Now here, actually, this story about the Goldilocks was not spread in a very nice way in the mind of my children. So I should pick out a different story. And then the title of the story is Red Riding Hood. Now here, students, first story Goldilocks and second story is Red Riding Hood. Red Riding Hood took a basket full of cakes and went off to visit her grandmother who lived all alone in the forest. There is a person whose name is Red Riding Hood who has a basket of cakes, and he wants to go to her grandmother just because of meeting. And what happened, and where does she live? She live in a forest. Humans should not encroach on forest land, said the environmentally curious Jaya. The nice. What was when she's the first sentence she spoke from her different story. When I spoke as a mother, when I spoke a different story about the Red Riding Hood, then suddenly what happened? My Jaya, she environmentally, as she was environmentally conscious about it, and what she asked me that humans should not encroach on forest land. Encroach, my dear student, means domain, possess, kabja. That we humans should not place our presence in the forest. Forest belongs to the nature. Forest belongs to the animals, birds who are the where they take a shelter every day. So we should not interfere in their life. It was the interruption which is made by the her nice Jaya. On the way, Red Red Riding Hood met a wolf and told it where she was going. She was at that on the way. Red Riding Hood met a wolf. Wolf is a kind of a lombri, and told it where she was going. That the wolf was asking that where are you going? The wolf took a shortcut to her grandmother's house and frightened off the lady. And what happened when the Red Riding Hood asked about that wolf that where are you going? Then the wolf took a shortcut and straight went to the grandmother house just to scare her, just to frighten her. Frighten her means Dharana, that old lady. The wolf then dressed in grandma's clothes. And what happened when the wolf reached in the house of grandma? What he did? He just wore the clothes, even the first of all the scarf which generally women put on their face to cover face. It is a kind of a tradition, a kind of a custom, a kind of a chunni we can say. Clothes. She was just covered by the grandma, the lady clothes. Who? The wolf. Presently, Red Riding Hood arrived, and now finally the Red Riding Hood arrived. Grandma, why are your ears so big? So in this scarf, in this cow, in this we can say uh, veil is a kind of a scarf which generally women cover her face. What the child, the Red Riding Hood, what he asked, why your ears are so big? He asked this question at the first time while he was standing at the door, and he asked such type of things to her grandma, why your ear is so big. Renu snorted. She spoke something. If one of us had mistaken a wolf for grandma, we would have been entered by grandma even if the wolf had spread us. Now, if one of us had mistaken a wolf for grandma, so like suppose if we do a such type of mistake to enter in a such type of place, then the wolf would spread, means that he would jump on us and we are going to die. In the next page, even the youngest was shaking his head in disbelief. Yes, 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 yes. It can be disbelief means that he is also not able to trust the words which is said by the mother. And mother said that as it was a very unbelievable story according to the children, and they were saying that how it would be possible that the wolf would go and he just add first grandma and now he dress up in the cloth of grandma and just trying to sit there and trying and pretending that he is like the wolf is in the form of grandma, and the child is believing in it. that yes, there it might be grandma, just because of he has a doubt asking about the years.